really sure at what point in my life that I stopped auditioning for rooms that I didn't even want to be in. But that is literally when everything changed for me. And that's what we're going to talk about today on Random Candace Thoughts. So thanks for joining us. I'm Candace, your favorite mom, nana, and overthinker extraordinaire who is tired of explaining herself, tired of apologizing. And I'm fully sitting in my grown woman energy. So let's talk about it. I had this realization recently, and I have discussed my ex in previous detail in my episode about surviving a narcissist. I will link that in the show notes. But recently, I made a mistake with the kids' calendar for the summer. We do back and forth kid timeshare. And I made a mistake with the dates. And we went back and forth before I realized it was a mistake. And when I looked at the calendar, I noticed I was looking at the wrong date. I was looking at the wrong week. I was in the wrong calendar altogether. So I sent him a text that just said, I apologize. I was incorrect. I'm looking at the wrong calendar. It was my fault. You were right. We will go on about the schedule, just like you said. And then that was it. That was it. Now, this is a man that I used to give apologies to over and over and over again. I used to over explain myself to him. And at that moment, I put my phone down. I thought about it, but I was aware of it. And I thought about it. I put my phone down and I walked away because I didn't need to explain myself to him. There was literally no other need. I had already apologized. I took the L and it was so freeing. It was so freeing. But where does that even start? Where does that learning to shrink ourselves even begin? I know for me as a woman, started very early. You're taught to apologize for kind of taking up space. I can only speak to my own experiences and my life as a mom or a wife or a daughter. But I remember being younger and not wanting to hug people and having to apologize for having that boundary. Nowadays, we don't force our kids to do that, right? We don't force them, but I mean, back when I was growing up, it was like, just go over there, kiss them on the lips, okay. And the best one, as a woman, you have to keep your sexual partner's number down a lot smaller than a man's, right? That's the expectation. But for them, they're just like awesome if they've got the big numbers. Justifying why you stay in or leave relationships. Men don't do that. Maybe they do. Again, not a man, but I always felt like I had to justify why I was leaving. And then when I tried to leave my first husband, first time I tried to leave him, I remember his mom saying, "Oh, well, you're cheating on him." Not because of all the horrible things that he had done and she had witnessed. And I remember saying to her at that time, one day when I really leave, I want you to look back at this moment and remember that it wasn't for cheating, right? After it was all said and done, and after him and I got back together, that's what I told her because I was so angry. That was the reason. It wasn't everything that he was doing, but feeling the need to defend how I grieve. I grieve differently than people, and I've had to defend my need to do it in my own way and being called too much. I have been called too much my entire life, too loud, too much information, too much simply for just being me. And I know some of you have felt that out there, being called too much just for being yourself. But what is grown woman energy, anyways? What does it actually mean? For me, it means making peace with your path, making peace with the path that you've walked, even if it's messy, even if it's bad, even if it is misunderstood. Make peace with it because your path was laid out for a reason. Choosing alignment over approval. A very dear friend of mine is struggling with this right now with their partner. They know that if they continue to build a business and create content and get out there and put their best foot forward and continue to learn and grow and fail, they know that they will build a business, but the partner doesn't approve. In fact, makes fun of them for it sometimes. And she's so aligned with it that she would not give up. And that's more showing his true colors than hers. That's grown woman energy. That is grown woman energy. Just choosing to walk the path that you know is the path you're supposed to walk, even if you don't have the approval of the people around you. Grown woman energy is knowing you don't need permission to be yourself. You don't need permission to be who you are. I used to over explain everything. Hell, it's in the title. Why I left, why I stayed, why I said yes, why I said no. I'd sit in conversations over explaining parts of my life to people who weren't even asking because I thought that they were judging me. I mean, they probably were, but I don't care anymore. And that's grown woman energy. It's not about being rude or unapproachable. It's just about being you. And it's about being rooted in who you are and what matters to you. You get to change your mind. You get to start over and you get to walk away from things that don't fit. You don't owe anybody a freaking PowerPoint presentation about it. We live in a culture that is obsessed with commentary from everyone. Every decision that you make becomes a conversation. Why aren't you having more kids? Why did you stay with him? Why'd you leave that job? Why are you still talking about that? Because I want to. That's why. But the real flex is not feeling the need to say that out loud anymore. I used to cry. I used to cry over people not liking me back from childhood through adulthood. But now I'm just like, okay, cool, whatever. I'm not for everybody. I realize that. I'm not for everybody. And it took me 40 years to get here. Being understood isn't a requirement to be at peace. It's just not. I made decisions that people did not agree with. Some I regret, some I would do again in a heartbeat. But every single one of those decisions brought me right here to this moment, to this version of me, the one who has lived through loss, who's been underestimated, overworked, who's had to rebuild not once, but multiple times. And the last thing I want to do is ask approval before living my damn life. Do you understand the emotional labor of constantly being on, needing to be liked or understood by people? It's exhausting. It's like curating your entire life for everybody else. It's not the perfect Instagram, and it's what you gain from just being yourself. It's so freeing. It's so freeing. It can be lonely, but it's also very honest and powerful and peaceful. That brings us to Oliver's Late, which is a segment about our grandson Oliver. He was born in January sleeping, and today is the 29th of May. And every 29th, we wear blue for Ollie. So I've got my blue shirt on, and we started wear blue for Ollie a couple months ago because we don't ever want anyone to forget him. And if you happen to find yourself on the 29th of a month, any month, wear blue for Ollie. And please use the hashtag blue for Ollie, FOROLLIE. It's just our way to honor him and continue to make sure that he's remembered. And this isn't just for us, it's for anyone who wants to help honor babies that are gone too soon and support the families who carry that love and grief every single day. If you're listening to this episode, throw it in your phone. Put it in a calendar reminder that every 29th, you're just going to wear something blue. Blue shirt, blue shoes, blue shorts, and make sure you tag me and use the hashtag blue for Ollie. Grown women don't have to explain why they wear blue every 29th, but I would love for you to join us in recognizing this day. So, with that being said, here is your reminder if you need one. You don't need to explain your joy. You don't need to defend your goals. You don't need to justify your peace to anybody because that's grown woman energy. And if people don't get it, they're just not meant to sit at your table, and that's okay. Pour the wine or the tea or iced coffee or Starbucks, whatever. Sit back, be proud because you don't owe anybody an explanation for how you survive, for how you love, for how you show up as who you are every single day. No explanations, no apologies, just be you. And make sure you subscribe so you never miss another episode of Random Candace Thoughts. Thank you for joining me and see you next week, grown woman.